everybody, and welcome to our first lessons of English grammar. Okay, I'm going to give you a summary of the most important rules of English grammar in order to help people who have never studied English to understand the basic rules and to be able to talk, okay, in a simple but correct way. And it will also be useful for people who maybe know some English more or less, but they can't really fix or find out the perfect rules, and so they make mistakes without even noticing sometimes, okay, but they really want to improve that in order to speak correctly. So the way I'm going to do this is at first talking about verbs, which are actually one of the most tricky parts of the grammar, of the English grammar in general. And the way I'm going to explain you the verbs is making comparisons, okay? Comparisons between verbs in the present tenses, in the past tense, in the future tenses. Now we are going to talk about the present tenses, so we're starting from the base forms, okay? Why am I making these comparisons? Why is it so important to study them in comparison? Because it's always very important to remember that English tenses are always chosen, okay, thinking about the context in which the action is happening. Okay, so don't ever try to find a correspondent form or tense in your own language, because it could really lead to some mistakes. Okay, what you have to think about is how is this action happening in my English context, in the English context I'm using right now. Okay, and so you pick one or the other. Okay. One or the other, talking about present tenses, and then we'll talk about past tenses and future tenses, but the dynamic is always the same. Okay, so first step is to talk about present simple or simple present if you prefer, and present continuous or present progressive. Okay, in this video we're going to talk about the present simple. In the next one we're going to talk about the present continuous, and we are always comparing them because we'll see that they are extremely complementary. Okay, so let's start with the present simple, and let's start finding out in which situations we are going to use it. First situation, first context. When an action is generically true or true for a long period of time. Maybe it's a habit, or maybe it's a scientific statement. Let's make an example. If I say water boils at 100 degrees, okay, this is a scientific statement. This is always true. It was true, it is true, it will be true, okay? And this is extremely, this is scientific, so this is a very strong statement, but it could be also something more personal. If I say, I don't know, I live in Italy, okay, this is an action which remains true for a long period of time. This is a habit, sorry. So I lived in Italy, I live in Italy, I will live in Italy, so this is a habit. This is true for a long period of time. Or you could tell me, I study languages. Okay, you're not just studying now at the moment you're talking. You generically study languages for a long period of time. So you use the present simple. Okay, so first situation for generically true actions, or actions which are true for a long period of time. Second point, for repeated actions. Repeated actions, they're also habits, okay? Repeated actions could use some adverbs or some other ways to, for example, when I say every week, every day, 2 times a week, every year, okay? Every morning I wake up at, okay? Or I go to the cinema once a week, okay? Means one time every single week, so it's a repeated action. Pay attention, we also consider, obviously, repeated actions, the actions which are connected with adverbs of frequency. The adverbs of frequency are always, sometimes, usually, often, never, ever, okay? Seldom, rarely, okay? And all of them have a very specific position in the sentence. We're going to see that later. So, third point, third situation in which we use the present simple with verbs that cannot form the gerund, so the ing form. Why that? Because the present continuous, okay, needs a gerund, an ing form, and if I can't form it, then basically I'll be forced to use the present simple, okay? But we'll see them later. We'll talk about those verbs and I'll tell you which verbs I'm talking about in my next video about the present continuous, okay? Now let's just go on and say how we can form the present simple or simple present. Well, it's extremely simple, okay? First of all, okay, it is formed with the base form of the verb. What is the base form? The base form is the infinitive without the preposition to. So when we look for a verb in a dictionary, we find to and the base form. The two things together are the infinitive. Okay? I eliminate the to, and what I have, okay, is the base form. Infinitive without preposition to. So this is called base form. It is also true that some grammar books may also use the two words, okay, with the same meaning. May say that the present simple is formed by the infinitive. Well, it is used sometimes, but I prefer to be very specific and to remember to remind you that these two things are two different things. Okay, one thing is the infinitive, the other thing is the base form. So, the base form is the same for all persons in my conjugation, excepting for one person, which is the third person singular. Okay, he, she, or it. Or it could be, obviously, my sister, your mother, his dad, Mary, John. Okay, it could be also a name, or anyway. Now, in this case, I'm using pronouns. Okay, I pronounce a subject, obviously, for the conjugation, but every third person singular is different from the other forms because it adds an s at the end of the base form. Okay, in this case, I use the verb play, which is extremely simple, okay, for everyone. I play, you play, and the third person singular, he, she, it, plays, okay, with the s at the end of the third person singular, at the end of the base form. Then there are the three plural forms, which are always the same, regular. We play, you play, they play. So the only person which is different is the third person singular, which adds this s. Always an s. No, okay, sometimes I could have to add es, okay, es. Why? Because some verbs, some base forms, have some endings, okay, which are s, double s, sh, which is pronounced sh, ch, which is pronounced ch, x, okay, or o. In these cases, I won't be able to add an s for a phonetic, for pronunciation reason. Let's make an example. Double s, for example, dress, to dress, okay? I can say she dresses, okay? I can put three s's, okay? So I have to say she dresses, okay? This e I put before the s is necessary, okay, for me to pronounce that s. It wouldn't be possible otherwise. Another example of sh, okay, the verb finish, for example, to finish. She finishes. No, I can't say it. Okay, she finishes. Or again, ch, it could be catch. Okay, the kid catches the ball. No, catches the ball. Pay attention especially to the verbs which end in O, because, like for example, the verb to go, it is he or she goes. I can't really hear in my pronunciation, I can't really hear that E, but when I write I have to pay attention and put the ES, okay? Goes is G-O-E-S. Same goes for do, which becomes does, okay? And this is very important. This is very important because the verb to do, okay, is used, and now we are going to see that, to form the negative and the interrogative forms of the present simple. So this is extremely important to remember how we conjugate them, okay? So I do, you do, he, she, it does. Okay, the pronunciation is completely different in this case. Okay, it's do, and then I add es, but I don't pronounce it do's or does or I don't know what, but does. Okay, with an R. So why and how shall I use this do or does to form the interrogative and the negative forms? So, interrogative form, I will just put do or does for the third person singular before the subject. Okay, before the subject. Then I got the subject and my base form, which is untouched. Okay, do you play? Do they play? Okay, do we play eventually? If it is a third person singular, then I'll say does he or she or it play? Pay attention, don't repeat the S again. Okay, you don't have to repeat the S again. Does he play? I won't say does he plays. Okay, this is very important to remember. Okay. So, this is about the interrogative form, so basically questions. And remember to put the question mark at the end. No, in this case, remember that the verb to do, because sometimes students ask me, well, what does it mean? Okay, of course it has got a meaning when we use it by itself, but in this case, okay, to form interrogative and negative forms, it doesn't have any meaning at all. It's just an auxiliary, which means that it helps. It helps to form some grammar tenses. Okay, it doesn't have any meaning. It just has a grammar task, a grammar duty. Okay. So for the negative form, it's even easier because I got the subject at first place exactly as in affirmative form, and before the base form, so between the subject and the base form, I have again do or does, but together with the word not. Not, which is the negative part of the sentence. I put them together, do and not, and they become don't. I put together does and not, and they become doesn't. So the sentence would be, you don't play, I don't play, we don't play, they don't play. Third person singular, as always, is different, and so he or she doesn't play. So this is different from the affirmative form, okay? Because in the base form I won't have to add the S, exactly as the interrogative form. All right? So this is all quite simple, okay? So again, short resume. Present simple is used for generically true actions or actions which are true for a long period of time. It's also used for repeated actions. And you remember I told you, okay, we have to specify where adverbs of frequencies are put in English. Yes, because there is a very specific rule here. Sometimes these adverbs of frequency, again, always, usually, sometimes, often, never, ever, seldom, rarely, whatever, okay, they can be put also at the beginning of the sentence, but it's not very common. The rule says they are put between the subject and the verb in the base form. I always go. You usually come. She never stays. Okay? And whatever you want to say. There is one exception to the rule, obviously, and this is with the verb to be. In this case, the adverbs of frequency aren't put between the subject and the verb, but after the verb to be. Example, I won't say I always am happy. I will say rather I am always happy. You are always hungry. She is always late. Now I used always, I could use any adverbs of frequency. Okay? So, another small exception I want to talk to you about is this one, and I've put it between the present simple and continuous because next time we're going to compare this situation with the present continuous. So, the why. When we have y at the end of the base form, how can we treat it? Okay, how should we behave? So, in this case, you have seen I had just put my S. Okay, no problems. Why? Because before the Y, I've got a vowel. Okay, the vowel is A in this case. Okay, in all these cases, when I have vowel and Y, I would just put my S without changing anything. But there are other cases, other situations in which before the Y, I've got a consonant. Like, for example, the verb try. Okay, before the Y, I've got a consonant here. In these cases, when I have to put the S, okay, I will have to eliminate the Y and put I, E, S. Okay, same goes for cry, for example. Cry, okay, cry, I eliminate the Y. Cry is then she cries. In this way, Y is eliminated and then I put I-E-S. Okay. Why I have to do this way? Well, it's not very important for you to know actually, but it could be useful to find a way to remember when you have to keep the Y or not. So it's just about phonetics. So when you have a vowel before the Y, you can put an accent, okay, on that vowel. And in this case, play, okay, my vowel is the A, it has an accent on it. So I can put an S, I have no problems. But with the verb try, for example, it was like this, okay? I have two consonants here, okay, T and R, and then I have a semi-consonant, okay, which is Y, as well as W. In this case, the Y or W can't have an accent, okay? So I couldn't add other consonants again without having any accents in the word. And so I have to eliminate my Y and put a real vowel, okay, in this way. So I will have no troubles in putting an accent on it. Okay, so this is just about phonetics basically, but it could help you remember why I have to keep the Y or I have to eliminate it other way. Okay, so this is all for this moment, for this video, because we have talked about the present simple. I've told you almost everything about that. Next video we are talking about the present continuous and we're comparing them in order to understand when you have to use one or the other, okay? I hope this is very useful for you. If you have any questions, please ask me behind this video, and please don't forget to subscribe my channel. Thank you very much and see you very soon.